I'm Roopa Rakshit and welcome to Global Vibes. My guest today is Lisa Dampier, teacher at Lakehead District School Board, Thunder Bay, Ontario. Today Lisa is going to talk to us about her experience with the Global Citizenship Academy.
Right.
Wow. We'll talk more about this, but I'm also very happy to welcome Aleksia Dromisky-Perron from Westmount Public School. Have I got that right?
Yes, you got it.
I've got the other family name right. So welcome so much and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Yeah. So Lisa, tell us all about the academy.
Well,
Global Citizenship Academy.
right.
When did it all start?
We started about 4 years ago. The principal that we had at the time, A.J. Keene, had actually come to our intermediate division and said, I've got an idea about teaching school a little bit differently. And he said, you know, our society has changed and the way kids learn and interact with each other seems to be changing. So I'd like us to try something new and different if you're willing to be open-minded about it. So his idea was that we teach kids from a specific focus that plays to their strengths. And he said, what I need you to do as teachers is identify what your personal strength and passion is, and that will become your focus for your class. So my immediate thought was to look at global citizenship, thinking about social justice, because that's a personal issue for me. It's a concern that I have, that kids need to be more aware of the world around them and to become more involved. And I also think it's really important for students to develop a voice and find a way to speak about the things that they really care deeply about. So I decided that that was going to be my focus, and it's been a work in progress for the last 4 years, and every year it's changed and developed and grown a little bit. So yeah, that's kind of how it all started.
So this started here in Thunder Bay?
Started here in Thunder Bay,
Right.
but I know other schools in other areas
they have adopted. Yeah.
Right. It's the first time that our local public schools have tried it. We were the first ones to kind of pilot that academy way of teaching, and since then other schools have adopted similar sort of academies, with every teacher sort of picking a focus that they thought suited them and their students, and each academy is sort of specific to that group and runs a little bit differently. So similar ideas, but just sort of done as whatever suits the school and the students best.
So are there more teachers in your school who's doing it with social justice?
We've got one that does a sports and rec academy,
all right,
so everything that they do is about the outdoors and being active. And then we have a fine arts academy at Westmount as well, and in the fine arts they do a lot of focus on drama, dance, music, visual arts, and
Every
integrating all of
aspect,
those
yeah.
together. So it's really interesting to see. We allow the students to choose their preference on academies.
Oh, okay.
So they're guaranteed at least one of their top 2 choices, and that way it plays to their interests and strengths as well.
Definitely very unique approach. Yeah?
It is, yeah. It's a pretty exciting program.
So when you started working with the academy, it's part of the school, right? It's
Right.
part of the Westmount School.
Right.
So when you started your working or being associated with this academy, how did you plan your curriculum? How did you? Social justice is a very, very broad, very topical subject,
Right.
and has deep roots in almost every country.
It's certainly
did
been a
you plan?
huge learning curve, and because there wasn't a lot of local schools doing that, I had to just kind of figure it out on my own. Social justice has huge programs actually in the UK, so I've adopted some of their materials and kind of made it fit the Ontario curriculum. I reached out to some other teaching partners. Southern Ontario has a few more schools, so I kind of joined some social media groups and started looking for resources that way. And I guess it's just kind of been a work in progress when it comes to finding resources and figuring out. I look at what my students at that time are interested in and what sort of knowledge they seem to have. And then I try to find materials that will go with that. And we just kind of play it by ear and figure things out together.
Yeah, it's definitely an important focus area for sure, especially in today's times and place.
I think so.
Yeah. How did, Aleksia, so you, I understand, would have chosen the social justice academic focus. Is that right?
Yeah, it was my first choice.
That was your first choice. Why so, Aleksia? What drew you to this particular focus area?
Well, I like to watch the news sometimes with my great-grandparents, and the more I watched, the more I learned that there were so many things I didn't know.
Oh, wow.
And I I really like helping people. And so I thought if I joined the Global Citizenship Academy,
Yeah.
I'd be able to learn more about how I could help others.
Wow. And have you been in Thunder Bay all along, or have you traveled?
I've been in Thunder Bay all my life.
Yeah. And so just wanting to know more about other cultures drew you to this course.
Yes.
Is this a course, or is it, how did you incorporate this in
Well,
across curriculum in subjects? How did you
when
go
the
about
first
that?
couple of years that we did it, it was fully cross-curricular. So every subject was taught through that lens. We found that to be a huge challenge, especially with subjects like math and science. So we've since sort of changed our focus a little bit, and now it's just our literacy focus, as well as all of our experiential learning opportunities. So we try to get out of the building quite often to get into our community and actually experiencing things firsthand. So everything that we do has that global citizenship focus. So I would say it's probably about half the day that we
half
spend.
a day. Okay, on talking about social justice.
Right.
Right. Well, that's a lot of work, actually. Yeah, looking into the curriculum and looking at work plans.
It is. It's a lot of work for sure, but because you're doing something that really feels like it's like it matters, as corny as that can sound, like it feels like it's making a difference, then that work doesn't feel quite so much like work. It feels just like it's something that you need to do.
And so that is your motivation? What drew you to social justice?
That's a good question. I guess I've just always felt like people need to be involved in their communities. I grew up in a small town in Saskatchewan where being part of your community was just what everybody did, and you looked out for each other, and you cared about anybody new that came into your town, and you tried to learn about them and make sure that they felt welcome. And when I moved to Thunder Bay, one of the things I loved about this city is that it's a big city, but it's a very small city at the same time. And I've been finding that since I've been living here, which is about 25 years now, the city's really changing.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that we're becoming such a diverse community here. And I think it's important that our students also embrace that, and that they feel comfortable living in this community, and that they all welcome each other. And I guess that's where I chose it to be my focus.
And is your class as diverse as the community that we're growing in?
I think so. We used to be in more of a smaller community where we didn't see a lot of flow in and out of that community, and it's changed certainly just as all areas have now. So it's a much more diverse class, which is what I love about it. I learn just as much some days as the other kids do. So it's just a great place for everybody to kind of get to know each other a little better.
Lisa, on that very, very positive note, we'll take a very short break, and we'll be right back to talk more about the Academy and your involvement with projects. Yeah. Great. Dear viewers, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, viewers. You're watching Global Vibes, and my guests today is Lisa and Aleksia, and they're talking to us about the Global Citizenship Academy. Lisa, you mentioned about social justice as your focus area and area of interest that you incorporated in almost across curriculum and in all subjects. But you have also brought natural resources, the discussions on natural resources, uneven distribution, equity issues into your curriculum. How did you blend these two different, very distinct focus areas, and why natural resources?
Well, I think caring for our environment is such an important part about the world that we live in. We're more than just people. So as much as we need to learn to respect and be open and treating each other kindly, we have to do the same for the environment. Otherwise, there's not going to be a planet for us to enjoy. And we've got a heavy science curriculum actually in the schools. So figuring out a way to make that science curriculum meaningful to them, and to understand how nature doesn't just act on its own. We have such an integral part in the way that nature develops and changes over time, and therefore we have a responsibility to act in a respectful way towards it. The two kind of actually blend themselves quite nicely.
And everybody has an equal opportunity to enjoy the nature.
And especially around a
environment.
community like
Right.
Thunder Bay, where
Yeah.
we're surrounded by this incredibly
Right.
beautiful, diverse nature here. We have
Yeah.
to figure out ways to appreciate it.
Yeah, Aleksia, you also are involved with any projects that is with natural resources or social justice? Have you been involved with any projects? What are the activities that you do with as part of the academy?
Well, right now we're doing a global action project with partners, and we have to focus on a certain subject, and then we're going to think about how it impacts Thunder Bay, and then some ways that we could help resolve the issue.
Well, how do you identify partners? Like Aleksia mentioned, how do you look for partners in the
Usually I
community?
let the kids choose.
Oh, you okay?
yeah.
Right.
They're partners within the class.
Oh,
and
okay,
then
okay.
when it comes to finding partners in our community,
Community partners, yeah.
they've been excellent in Thunder Bay. We reach out to certain areas such as the Lakehead Region Conservation Authority. They've been excellent with helping us come up with programs that really suit our focus. We do a lot of partnerships with Westgate. We go and work with their technology department. Right now we're building toys for Christmas cheer
Okay.
together with their grade 11 technology class. We have a very active partnership with the Lakehead University Aboriginal Mentorship Program.
Right.
So they just came into our class the other day to talk about water scarcity and how on a lot of our First Nations communities, water filtration continues to be an issue.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we have a partnership with them. We'll be over at LU in 2 weeks to work in their labs to do
Right.
some looking at organic versus chemicals,
Chemicals, yes,
right?
of course,
So every business has been great about helping students to further develop whatever areas they have an interest in.
How did you bring multiculturalism in your class?
Well, I mean, Thunder Bay is a very multicultural
Yeah.
city, so there's all kinds of exciting opportunities. And anytime I happen to see something like the one that I saw on the Diversity Thunder Bay page, I follow a lot of those local Facebook groups
Right.
that help to tell me some of the diverse things that are happening in our community.
The ethnic programs or ethnic activities,
Exactly.
festivities, celebrations. Yeah.
And there's been lots. There's sometimes our students that I don't realize have a certain background, and when I start asking about it, they'll say, "Oh, I celebrate that," or "My family
Oh.
has this heritage," and so the opportunities are there. It's just a matter of being aware of them
Right.
and reaching out to people like yourself and saying, "Hey, do you mind
Can we-
coming on in and
Yeah.
talking to us about it?"
It was fun, Aleksia. It was really, really nice to come to your class and talk to you all about Diwali, our festival, which is a very secular festival across India, celebrated across in India. I also wanted to know about you had done some projects on social media, I understand. What was that about?
Well, we've had students in the past create social media videos
Right.
that talk about an issue or a topic that they're concerned about. Some excellent videos that they've made on bullying and on inclusion, on making sure that students feel safe and that we're not focusing on stereotypes or those kinds of things.
Right.
So social media is such an active part of the youth today,
Of
and
the
I
youth
want them
today,
to know
yes.
that you can do more than just watch silly cat videos. You can actually make videos yourself that are impactful
Right.
and figuring out how to just be responsible and actually be an activist
Yeah,
through
just-
all of those great social media platforms.
Just raising that awareness and developing that social consciousness and just understanding, bringing compassion
Yeah.
to each other's cultures. So with the social media the programs that you've done for that is only for the students, or is it for public consumption? Have you
It
shared the
depends.
videos with people outside the school?
The school has a YouTube channel.
Okay, all right.
So we have put some of the videos there on that YouTube channel.
Right.
So then that is open for public viewing.
Right.
Usually it kind of depends on what the activity is. Like last year we did some Instagram pages based on a novel that we read, and we just kept those sort of in-house as opposed to making them public. So the kids always have to think about that when they're making their
Yeah.
social media. Who's going to be seeing
Seeing
this?
it, yeah, your
And,
audience, yes.
Yeah, they think about their audience and then they decide, is this public or should this be in-house?
And Aleksia, have you been involved with any of these social media projects?
Not yet.
yet.
Not yet. Okay. So this is
coming.
you're in grade 7. You're in grade 7, 8?
Yeah,
Grade
7.
Grade 7. Right. And Lisa, you have been recognized and acknowledged for your work. Yeah? You were awarded the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario 2017 Anti-Bias Award for teaching global citizenship
Right.
and social justice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How did
I
that
appreciate
feel?
that. It felt amazing to be recognized.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I liked about it the most was not really the personal accolades, but the fact that it brought out the idea of it being possible to teach in that way, and it got other teachers thinking about running similar sort of programs, and recognizing that Thunder Bay is doing some really amazing things that suit our students. So the recognition for the program itself and the benefits to teaching through that academy focus was sort of the most important thing, in my opinion, that came out of that recognition. But there are so many teachers doing so many great things that it's really nice to get a little pat on the back.
Yeah, absolutely. And congratulations
Thank you.
again. Yeah, Aleksia, you must be very, very proud of your teacher.
Oh, I am.
On that note, again, we'll take a very short break. Lisa and Aleksia, we will be right back. Stay tuned, dear viewers. Welcome back, viewers. You're watching Global Wives. My guest today is Lisa and Aleksia, and what a fascinating journey and stories. There's such positivity out there, Lisa, that you are sharing with your students.
Thank
and raising this awareness, the social consciousness about things around them, issues, topical issues, concerns, and bringing this inclusive personalities. Yeah? That's awesome. Thank you so much
Thank
for doing
you.
that. I wish we had more. We need more of such activities and, open-mindedness
It would be
in
great.
everything we do today. Yeah.
I agree.
Aleksia, what is your learning from all of these? You've got involved, you are going to this academy, you have social justice and, talking about natural resources. What is your learning? What is your take-home message? And do you pass this message across to other people?
Well, I think I would have to say that we should. I think that I'd have to say. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I think I'd have to say. Sorry, I'm trying to word. I know what I'm going to say. Sorry.
That's okay.
I would have
Truly,
to.
you're enjoying it, right?
Yeah.
You're enjoying your classes with
Yeah.
Lisa.
I would have to say that it would be to treat everybody equally, no matter how different they are from you or
Right.
where they're from.
Absolutely. What a wonderful message, Aleksia. What a wonderful message. And have you been recently involved with any other project that talked about, bringing in different cultures in your curriculum, in your work?
I'm really sorry for pausing.
That's okay. You can
That's
mention
okay.
about, do you
Yeah.
want to talk about the Peace Crane
Yeah.
project?
Yeah.
Sorry again for pausing. Well, we've done a peace crane project with other classes
Right.
where we made peace cranes and we sent them to a class in Scotland and Missouri,
Oh, wow.
and we got peace cranes back, and they all had little messages on them that were very.
Oh, that's so
Nice.
interesting. Like you made the cranes with messages and you sent it across to a school.
And Aleksia was quite the pro at
Oh, wow.
origami. Some of us found it a little complicated because you have to fold them a certain way.
Right.
And Aleksia just knew how to get them, and she did the most beautiful cranes.
Yeah. Wow.
And now they're hanging in classes in Scotland and Missouri.
And
So-
I remember when I came for the Diwali session at your in your class, and there was rangoli all over.
Right. We
in
made
your
those.
backdrop. Yeah.
And our next celebration will be Hanukkah.
Oh, it's it's
So
coming up. Yeah.
we've got someone coming to talk to us about Hanukkah. So we'll
Right.
be making some great decorations and
Yeah.
things to go along with that.
Right.
And
any other projects for future that you have thought of besides the
We've got a
Hanukkah?
few things going on.
For the new year.
We're building toys for Christmas cheer right now with the technology class at Westgate. We've got some things coming up after Christmas that I don't want to tell them too much about.
The surprise, Aleksia.
So it's always kind of a work in progress. I like to make sure that things are never quite the same, because sometimes I do have students that will stay in my academy for 2 years in a row. So I try to make sure that they're doing activities that are current and in the moment. So we just look for those opportunities as they arise.
And it's definitely, you're very proud of your students, Lisa, and I see
So
that.
proud. I'm so proud. I have the most amazing group of kids who really do care about the world, and they care about making not just our school better, but our community better and the world better, and seeing them find their voice and grow in their own comfort and their realization that they have something really important to say. They all have something to offer.
To learn from.
Yeah, it's exciting to watch them grow.
That was a very important message, Aleksia, that you gave all of us. Thank you. And people like you, the youth and the children are the voice of change for tomorrow. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. Lisa, you were also talking about connecting with the community in Thunder Bay. Yeah. So you do that through Facebook and through the Multicultural Association.
I do it through however I can. Sometimes it's contacts, so somebody who knows somebody who's heard of our academy before. I had someone reach out to me the other day and said, oh, we've got a guest speaker coming in to speak about human trafficking, which is a local concern. So she's coming to speak to our class tomorrow about it. And
she's a guest from outside.
She actually is a former MP.
Oh, okay.
So she happens to be in town, and she heard that our class looks at global issues, so she's coming to speak with us. So, the opportunities sort of, sometimes they find me and sometimes I look for them, but locally our community's been great about embracing whenever we reach out and say, we've got an idea, we'd like to partner with you on this. We've had a fantastic response from the community, and they've been super helpful in making sure that the kids are feeling welcomed and valuable for contributing to Thunder Bay.
Yeah, I mean, at some point when Aleksia would be pursuing further studies and maybe even outside Thunder Bay, and she would be meeting a whole lot of a diverse community out there. There's so much learning, so much understanding that one can gather from.
Yeah, and Aleksia she'll be one to watch in the future if she ends up in her goal of getting into politics. And
yes, Aleksia, you want to go into politics for social justice? Awesome, good for you, and all the very, very best. No wonder you're very proud of your students. Students love you. What has been personally, Lisa, what has been your learning curve from all of these exercises?
Yeah. Well, I've been teaching for over 20 years, and math is my background. So I've been teaching math to intermediate students. I've been at Westmount School for 16 years, usually teaching math. So for me, this has reignited a passion, and it's easy to get into a routine and to keep doing the same thing sort of year after year. So to have found this academy has reopened my personal learning. It's gotten me to kind of look at things a little bit differently and to realize that the role of schools isn't just to teach the curriculum, but to teach the child and to help them realize what their own potential is. So it's totally changed my mindset and my passion when it comes to my job. Yeah. So I love it.
It's wonderful when you love your work, and there's so much passion behind everything that you do, Lisa. I wish you all the very, very best, Lisa.
Thank you.
But before we wrap up, any message that you have for our youngsters today?
I just think it's so...
even adults, people like us, we're learning every day.
I think it's just all about being open-minded, not being scared to try new things. And, there's that saying that says your comfort zone is a great place to be, but nothing ever grows there. And I think it's very true that sometimes stepping outside of our comfort zone, like I made Aleksia do today, sometimes doing that, we realize exactly what potential we have and how we can change the world.
Yeah. And Aleksia, you're awesome, and I wish you all the very best. The sky is the limit, or maybe not, Reach out. Congratulations once again, Lisa, on all the good work that you're doing.
Thanks for having us, Roopa.
Yeah, and all the very best for both of you.
Thank you.
Lisa and Aleksia. Thank you, viewers. We'll try our best to bring more such positive and remarkable stories from our community. Stay tuned for more Global Vibes.